Greetings. Thank you for joining us on The Circle, where we invite women of varying faiths and backgrounds to discuss current events that affect our lives. I'm Anu Vishwa, and joining me as always is my lovely co-host, Clementine Maltabay. And back with us for another episode are Michelle Dawes-Burt and Lakiba Wallace. We're glad you tuned in. Results of the religious landscape studies by the Pew Research Center were just released. They showed that many Americans are moving away from religious affiliations. We will discuss this and other interesting facts that the study revealed about the changing role of religion in our country. But first, let me check in with my lovely ladies on the couch. How are y'all?
Hi, good.
Good. Lots of playful attitude in this couch today, I have to say. We've had lots of commentary about our varying wardrobe. Everybody looks fantastic and fun.
Yes, all rainbow here today.
So thank you for coming back, ladies. How are y'all?
Good. We're good.
Good.
Thanks for having us back.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So tell me what's been going on with you guys since we last saw you. Anything new in your worlds?
Well, I am super duper excited. I can't really contain myself here. Y'all hold me down, hold me down, hold me down. But as you know, I'm a magazine editor of the Living Day by Day magazine, and I'm so excited that we are launching in Jamaica in October of this year. So,
Good.
like somebody, you know, hold me. So I'm super excited about that. So that's coming. So stay tuned for all the exciting features that's going to be in the Living Day by Day magazine for October of 2015.
Very cool. So the same content is going to be released there, or is it going to be different content entirely?
Great question. We're going to
still
stay with
figuring
the
that out.
same content because
Okay.
that is what really models what the magazine is. So we're not changing
Fascinating.
anything, just some new faces to the magazine.
Okay.
I'm
Very
excited
cool.
about that.
Yes,
Business
congratulations.
trips,
And
business
some
success.
business trips.
I'm happy to go.
Yes.
Hell.
Yes.
I like the way you
God
think.
is good.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let me know if I can ever help.
Get on the plane with me to go to Jamaica.
Yeah, I do plane rides like super easy.
You got it. We're going to work that out for
yes.
you.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
What's up with you, Michelle?
A lot of different things. I have a couple of events coming up.
Okay.
Still trying to finalize quite a few of them, but just staying busy in the community, helping out with different various women organizations and things like
Awesome.
that. Continuing to push the brand, Real Chicks Rock. I'm wearing it today. That's what it's all about. And you know, for those that are interested, they can go to the website.
It's a really fun website.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
And follow me and just see what we're doing. It's again, it's realchicksrock.com.
Yeah.
So just keep an eye out on me because I'm doing some
We'll
things.
do it. I mean, our circles are bound to run, literally, are about to, I hope, will, you know, start sort of colliding because it seems you're doing a lot of things that certainly Clementine and I hope to be doing too.
Absolutely.
So maybe we can collabo. Very cool. What's up with you, darling? You look lovely with your
She
beautiful
does.
tattoo that
right.
never gets
Finally.
shown.
After how many years have we been doing
I
the
don't
show?
know. I don't know.
Three?
It's time.
3.5? Anyway, yes, I decided I was ready to reveal that, yes, I have a half sleeve and I love it and I'm sharing it with the audience.
Nice.
Yay. In the interest of being real,
There you go.
authenticity,
There you
being
go.
true
Absolutely.
to
Yeah.
yourself.
Love it.
Yes.
Yes, I think I'm
Applause all around.
Yeah.
Rock it.
letting go of old ideas about, you know, I can't be professional if I'm showing it, or I can't. I actually just started. It's warm out, and sometimes I do sessions outside. Actually,
Yeah.
I have a really cool space where it's
Yeah.
in a garden, and there's little Adirondack chairs, and so I was like, in the interest of realness, I'm just gonna be comfortable and wear a sleeveless shirt. So,
Oh, that's good.
but I have some
does.
awesome thing that I want to share with you guys that I knew that I wasn't going to have time for the last show. But I had the distinct honor and privilege of being invited to my best friend's birth. And it was amazing.
Birth, like her giving birth?
To her very first child, yes.
Wow.
And she was on the show.
Yes, she was on the show. Yes, Lucy Kendrick Smith, yep.
Wow.
Awesome.
It was such a privilege and just so such an honor for her to invite me to be a labor partner, and it was really intense, of course.
Right. Did you almost pass out like, is that a baby?
Oh, I'm about to pass out just hearing y'all talk about it. Oh, no.
Not at all. I was totally into it and totally zen, and I really was, I think, kind of a calming, grounding energy in the room for her, and I just was very encouraging, let her know she was doing great and everything was going well. But it's just the whole, you know, I mean, I've seen footage of births, vaginal births, and you know, but being in the room, and especially for as long as, I mean, in her case, she was in labor a very long time. I just have so much respect for all the mothers.
Here.
I mean, regardless of what your birth experience was, whether it was a C-section or natural or whatever, like, I tip my imaginary hat to you because it is just an incredible feat of nature, and it's a miracle. And it's also, it's this weird mix of like totally natural and also totally miraculous at the same time. And just have so much respect for mothers and women's bodies and what we can do. And
life-changing.
What we can bring forth. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So many levels of that, right?
Yeah. So big time respect, and big time respect to my mom too. And
Here. I know we're a little past Mother's Day by the time the show airs, but big up to all the moms.
Yeah.
Well,
very cool. Well, thank you for sharing that with us.
Sure,
Please
my
send
pleasure.
Lucy our love.
Right.
She had the boy, yes? She had a boy, and that was the first boy that we had on the circle couch. Right?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, cooking on the couch. Yeah. That's
in the oven on the couch.
Yeah, he was the first boy on the couch.
Yes,
so
that's
very
true.
cool.
Awesome.
Well, thank you for sharing that, and please do give her my love.
I will be glad to.
Love from the circle.
Yes.
So I got a little more excited about this topic than I think Clementine might have.
It's okay. I got my exciting topic in before.
So there's, as I mentioned, there's a religious landscape study. It actually it took place, I think, in 2014. The study, the Pew Research Center, which is one of the more renowned ones, they do really wide-scale research. I think they've ended up contacting for this particular study something like 35,000 people. They do extensive phone interviews and ask about people's religious affiliations, et cetera, which is something that the U.S. government doesn't get to do when doing census. So we really didn't have a good idea of what the religious groups and identities were of Americans. The last time the Pew Research did something like this was in 2007, and so they've redone it in 2014. And there's some interesting numbers coming out. I think there's been some concern by Christian communities around America that the big headline is that Christian people are moving away from identifying themselves as Christian, which I think causes more alarm than it should, because the truth is, even to this day, something more than 85% of American adults have been raised in Christian households, but about a quarter of them are now saying we're not necessarily affiliating ourselves with particular churches, which is not exactly the same thing as losing our religion, as one of the titles of articles that came out was. But there's a changing landscape, and so I know I believe both of you identify as Christians, and you're free to sort of talk about your particular denominations and things, but how does this strike in your belief system?
Well, I think the question on the table, or the issue, should I say, on the table, is that, people are just overly hurt. Church hurt it's a hurt that is so deep. It really is, and it's real. Church hurt is really real. And you get to the point to where, you have these issues in your life, and you're attending church in the hopes that you can, get delivered and overcome the things that, you are encountering. And then you get in church and it's drama. Y'all know Minister Lakiba is just real, being real chicks, real chick.
And, real chick on the couch.
Real chick on the couch, And so, I find that, a lot of folks, if you will, get to the point to where they're so hurt from just issues in church, to the point to where they love God, but they don't love the issues and the drama that comes along with it, And I think people are really at a point right now where they're saying, hey, you know, is there a TV somewhere?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Or
right.
a computer somewhere where I can get the word, I can still love Jesus. If I decide to, you know, pay my tithes at this church or that church, I mean, I can still be within the confounds of the Word of God, if you will, and not put up with all the church hurt and all the drama and, oh, you can't come in here if, you know, your hair is this way, or you can't come in here if your skirt's that way. And certainly we're not condoning, you know, just being, you know, loose and your clothes being any kind of way, but by the same token, let me be who I am.
Right.
You know, and that's interesting that you're talking about, because I think one of the feedbacks about it, or at least one of the takeaways from the study, is that people are becoming more individualized. And I was like, is that possible? Americans and the Westerners are already pretty individualized compared to, you know, Asian countries that I'm more familiar with. But apparently what's happening is people are becoming more individualized, and so their identity socially and now also religiously is begging for more room than some of their organized religions will allow. And so that is one of the, you know, I think you hit on it right away, is that is something that they're noticing happening.
Yeah, it's definitely, people want to be empowered. We talked about that before, and we have the tools to do it. So you have the internet, you have television, you have 200 and plus channels on cable television, and you can scan through it and see a pastor or someone of faith help you understand where you are, or, you know, kind of give you their interpretation of a biblical story. So people don't necessarily feel that they have to be confined in the four walls to get what they need.
Right.
Then there's also the drama that you talked about. And so people don't want to be associated with that. Right. I think it is, if you really look within, it is an individual type of journey. I don't think it's necessarily designed to always be exposed in the masses, if you will.
Sure.
It's a personal, intimate
journey
with yourself, right? Whether you're praying, whether it's through meditation. And so I think people are just trying to understand that what's in it for me, like, who is this God? What is this about? What is faith? How does it really work in my life? Like, really try to bring it down to their own personal situation and apply it. And then it's a little bit of, I'm grown, I'm degreed, I'm educated. I don't need anyone to tell me how I should worship, how I should get my breakthrough. I mean, it's just different things that go on in a person's psyche that helps them kind of make these decisions. There are a lot of married couples where the wife tends to go to worship on Sunday, and the husband says,
it's so funny, you're hitting all these things. I don't know if you read up on this, but it said that. They're actually saying the higher, you know, people are, the higher the education level, the less likely people are to go belong to a particular group. And actually, women are going to church more than men, which I guess as a Hindu that surprised me. I don't know if it should or not, but yeah, you're right on.
Yeah, because
I guess you've lived that. I mean, you don't need some study to tell you that. You're like, I know that.
I think just and not bashing men, because I love men, but sometimes, you know, they feel like, I don't need anybody to tell me. You don't have to tell me who God is to me. I'm not going to. You want to go, wife? You go. I'll be here when you get back. And I think sometimes they take that position. You know, because maybe it's the church that they attend, that it's a mega church, it's too big, it's not intimate enough. I like to be in a place where I can actually talk to the pastor versus he's 100 seats away, 100 rows away, I can't get to him. So it's different things that, again, stimulate someone's psyche. But again, at the end of the day, it's between you and your divine source, right? At the end of the day. And so whatever you need to help you get there and keep you centered and balanced, then that's what you need to do. And I don't think you need a title for that. But when you interact with people, they should sense some kind of light or difference with you. Like, there's should be some balance because you've invested that time with your divine source.
Whether you're in church or not, the lights are still
It's going to shine. It's going to shine wherever you go.
But, you know, I do agree, and it's Bible, that, you know, you should not forsake the assembly of yourself.
True.
You need to be in some type of, church form, whatever that might be. It might be a church in your house. I don't know.
Right,
Some type of church where you're getting somebody who is confirming that which you've already studied yourself. Said, okay, I read this scripture and now I go to church or wherever I go, and he or she has just confirmed that now. Okay, now I got understanding. Because we know with understanding, there's growth. With growth, there's knowledge, and then you're able to really understand fully who you're worshiping is. You're worshiping God. You're able to really fully understand that because you're reading and you're hearing what you're reading, and then your spirit is really resonating with that, and you finally fully understand. But I think people are really wanting to express their freedom. They don't want to be locked into an 8 o'clock service or 11 o'clock service, or church start at 7:30. Well, I get off work at 5. I work an hour away. By the time I get to church, I'm mentally exhausted. But I can go home and cook and turn on something, and it's reality.
Yeah. So there is, I try to think about, why is this so scary for churches? Why is this so scary for communities of faith, that people are, sort of straying away from the community? And, I get it. Coming from a collective society, there is some protection, and I think that's as far as I can go. Protection in belonging to a community, right? So that I'm not alone in raising my children, that I have a community to help support me. I'm not alone in caring for my elderly parent. I have other people that I can call from the church, or, whatever it is that helps us live our lives, go to work, raise our kids, care for our, whatever, our pets maybe, whatever it is. There's a sense of community, and there's some strength in that.
Absolutely.
Right? So, what do we say about that? What do we say that people are straying away from this? Is it breaking up communities? Is it hurting us as a society on some level?
Well, I mean, and I'm very candid and transparent. For me, I'm a Christian, and I make no apologies for that. That's who I am. That's what I believe in. And I know when I was going through my battle with breast cancer and going through financial depletion and all the other different things that I've gone through in my life, the church and the Word of God really played an important role in my life, and it really catapulted me into the well-rounded young lady that I am today. But if I meet somebody and they don't have the like story, it's okay. It's really okay. It's not for me to try to beat over your head, Genesis to Revelation. No, that's not what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to live out who I am, let that light shine. And if some of the light get on you, then okay. But if it doesn't, that just means I am not the seed that's supposed to sow into you. It may be somebody else that's supposed to sow, or you might be sowing into me. So I think that there's just levels that we have to understand. If you don't go to church or you practice, another religion, who am I to judge you? It's like, I don't want you to judge me, but yet and still I'm judging you. I'm just going to be who Minister Lakiba is. If you ask me a question, I'm going to expound on that. If it's not the answer that you're looking for, we're not going to get into this heated, my faith is better than your faith. Like, no, this is not elementary.
That ain't going to get you far with a Hindu anyway.
We're not fighting for the swing here,
No. So what are your thoughts, Michelle, about where does sort of community fall in this conversation?
I think it's two things.
Okay.
I think that as a person that is felt or led to lead people through faith, there's a concern that if the flock doesn't come, will the faith diminish, right? Will Christians kind of wither away? Will Christianity in the States kind of wither away if the flock doesn't come every Sunday or multiple times in the week? I think that's one dynamic. The other dynamic is it's business.
Oh, yeah.
It's a business.
Absolutely.
When people come and something is shared and it's a wonderful experience, you tend to give. Whether it's of your time, whether it is of your money, you give, because that's what you read in the Word of God, right? You should sow, you should give. And so if people aren't coming, if they're not having this worship experience, then you're going to get a little dry, right? So it's a business. I think that's where the concern could potentially be, that as, because on our money was in God we trust, right? So when we came here, or we all come from different backgrounds, some of us. So ideally, this country was founded on the principles, on a godly state, a godly foundation, Christianity, exactly. And so now, is that shifting? Are we losing that? You know, so again, by having this, you feel like, well, I don't know, will people continue to come and worship? Will we lose what we have? And then again, it's a money piece too.
Good point.
Mm-hmm. So I totally have some thoughts. I know we might be running out of time, but I think that what's shifting is actually exactly what you were talking about before, Michelle, when you were talking about how more and more people are really developing a more intimate relationship with God and a more personal, direct relationship with God. And I think that also people are integrating that divinity or spirituality, however you want to put it, into all aspects of their life versus just sort of compartmentalizing and dedicating 1 hour a week to like, I'm going to church and I'm tithing and I'm whatever. It's like, I mean, it's a lot like what the two of you have talked about too. It's like, I feel called to this work. This is my ministry. You may not use the word ministry, but this is how I'm serving God or serving you know, the world. This is how I'm manifesting that. And so that creates a different kind of community. And you're creating your own communities that are also still connected through the thread of God, but not necessarily through
maybe a
the walls of the
faith.
church.
Exactly.
Right.
Great point.
Great point. Got to pause real quick. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back. We're talking today about a Pew Research study that was talking about the changing face of religion in America. And I just want to say, you know, I know we're sort of talking about Christians as if it's one cohesive group. That's a bad phrasing on my part. There are different types of Christians, or different denominations, or there's all kinds of variations. So the study does differentiate between Catholics, mainline Protestants, evangelical Protestants, Methodists, Baptists, etc. So I want to just put that out there so people know it's not just talking about Christians on a whole, although Christians on a whole are shying away from church. That is true. So with that, just that little point of clarification, I do want to say, I think Clementine made a great point before we took a break, and that is religion might be fading, but faith is not, right? And I think everybody on this couch agrees is that we're learning to practice faith differently than we've done so in the past. And so, I mean, I think you guys are all living examples of how you practice your own faiths. And so, I mean, tell me more about sort of how, you know, how do you live in modern day America with, you know, as Minister Wallace?
Absolutely. And, you know, to me, I when you were talking, I just saw the word life. And to me, that's what faith is. Life is just living in faith every day, the L-I-F-E. And that's what faith is. Though I do agree that people are shying away from the churches. They're shying away from the four walls for various reasons. Schedules, just wanting to feel free. Don't want to be in bondage. They don't want to, you know, feel like I got to be here at this time, or I got to do that, or the hurt that is so prevalent in churches. People are really just at a point where they're just sick and tired of it. But I do believe that the faith is still there, because we wouldn't be sitting on this couch today if we didn't have faith. I wouldn't have my magazine if I didn't have faith, because it's the faith that drives us to keep on going, regardless of those things that we encounter or the hurt that we encounter.
Yeah,
or
like
the
that anger that I encountered,
Absolutely.
I was talking about on the last show.
Absolutely, we keep on moving. And, you know, I always say, you know, faith to me is just, you know, trials and tribulations are just steps of elevation. And faith is just keep on living and keep on stepping, regardless. If you're in the four walls of a church or if you're outside the four walls of the church, you still have your Bible, you still have your relationship with God. I'm not saying don't go to church, don't misconstrue the words. You know, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying
I am kind of cognizant of that. That I don't want that to be the message. It still works for people, but people are practicing differently.
Right. I think that you are a message board. You are a living, breathing board. a message, if you will. And I think we interact with so many people outside of church. I agree. I think church is I was raised in a church, so I am not belittling it at all.
Right.
You have to kind of go in there and recharge and get what you need, the tools that you need to come out here. But some people will never go into the four walls. And so my motto is, I can show you better than I can tell you. And so if you live by example, they'll get that.
Right.
They'll get a piece of that. And so it's a daily thing, you know, and some days you're on, you feel like you're on point, and some days you're off. But it's really about you and your creator. It's at the end of the day, it's between you and your source. And no one else can take that away from you. You can't buy your way through that. It's what you want to invest and what you want to get out of it. And so just for me, at where I am in my life right now, I'm learning to exercise my faith more versus just reading about it or hearing someone talk about it. I'm actually applying what I've learned and read and studying as a Christian and putting it out there. I'm speaking what I want. And I'm allowing it to manifest. So, and then I'm surrounding myself by like-minded people so that my struggles are not as intense as it would be before.
So it's like you're creating your own community, right? Which is sort of what we were talking about.
This is my community right here.
Here.
We're creating the community right now.
Real chicks. This is the real chick community right here.
I love it. You know, and I do appreciate, you know, that to me as a Hindu, that's sort of how I've always understood my faith and my connection. And it is so empowering to know that it is really about my own journey and my own, the connection I choose to create with my nobility or my higher source or whatever it is. And so I think, you know, I'm glad to hear more people in the Christian tradition are learning to be more empowered that way, as opposed to sort of, you know, having a go-between, right? And so it is empowering, and I see that. I mean, I know that's sort of a theme in your life, and it shows, right? And so I'm thrilled to hear, and I'm happy to see you live it.
I think it's no different than us going to school, right? You go to school to get educated. That teacher or professor is the person that gives you the information you need, but it's up to you to take that and see if it works, right? So I don't think it's any different than us going to church, that you have a pastor or someone to help you understand some things that maybe you had questions about, but it's up to you to really see, is it going to work or not for you?
That's a great way to wrap that up. You got any last second thought?
No, I think these ladies have covered this topic beautifully. Thank you both.
So, what do you think about the latest study? What do you see the difference between faith and religion as? Please, we'd like to hear from you. Drop us an email at programming@aibtv.com. I'm Anu Vishva, and on behalf of Clementine Maltabay, Michelle Dawsbert, and Lakiba Wallace, I thank you for being part of our circle once again.